Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 2 between Beasty and Wham on King of the Hill, the map that Beasty probably loves to play the most in this tournament. Spawning in on the left side, it is going to be Beastyqt playing as the Roos in red, and on the right, we do have, in blue,
Wham01 playing as the Mongols. We'll take a look at his spawn. I'm curious to see exactly how it's gone for him. He's up against the wood, and he's also got his gold mine back there. So good little spawn. And Beastyqt with the 40 gold a minute hunting cabin. So to me, that already signals it's not going to be a high trade house. It's probably going to be a fast castle, or not a fast castle, but it might be. It's not going to be an abbey, or it's not going to be a high trade house. It'll be an abbey of the king for sure.
I mean, technically you can place that high trade house in one of the other corners. I just want to give a very quick shout out to Vam's efficiency over here, although it wasn't perfect. So you could see that the villager that was building the Ovu, he started chopping a straggler tree right next to it. And the idea was that if I have to walk all the way back, might as well bring some wood with me. Now, in the end, he walks back to drop the barracks, so it's not going to be to great effect, but it's a nice little touch over here. Khan, of course, having to kill a deer with 3 arrows as compared to a scout having to use only 2 arrows will slow down Wham when it comes to taking down those hunts. And Beasty, he could actually secure quite a lot of bounty for himself, though he wasn't really successful grabbing a lot of wolves so far.
A lot of sheep coming out for him, though, on that northern scout and on this southern scout as well. Look at all the sheep that are tailing Beastyqt right now. He is in a world of love for these sheep, it seems.
This
now
map
going to
is
be tailing. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, this map is one of those where you can predict the spawn of the sheep pretty well. Most of the time they spawn close to that central area, mostly on that outer rim of that central circle or that central hill. So you have a pretty good guess of where to go if you want to pick up a lot of sheep, and that's definitely something that helps Beast to do this.
Yeah, really good point. And we see that now he's going to be able to try and pick off this wolf. Beasty going to be turning around and manages to snipe it out. His bounty must be looking very healthy at this point in time. And now turning his attention. Interestingly, Wham not taking down the sheep that are following Beastyqt here. But the tower rush is coming out for Wham.
Ooh, tower rush. Interesting idea against the Roos, but I'm not necessarily against it, because think about it this way. If the Roos are focused on defending, it's going to be much more difficult for them to move out towards a boar. And that is definitely something that Wham could use to limit the options available to the Roos player over here. Now looking at Beasty, he's got a pretty big bank of gold here. He's also researching wheelbarrows, so one has to wonder how much bounty he managed to collect, because this could easily be like in the 300s based on the amount of gold he has in the bank.
Yeah, we'll take a look at his perspective, and we can see, yeah, he's got 330 bounty, so not a bad haul right there for him. Still got plenty of sheep left to kill as well, so he's going to be doing A-okay. But now we start to see that villager making her way in. And I guess for me, the question is it really going to be worth tower rushing a Rus player? Let's think about this a little bit more logically, okay? If you're up against a Rus player who is on the backside of their base with a very protected little corner, what prevents them from just walling this out and stopping any kind of aggression? We'll look to see what the response is coming out from Beastyqt. He might even just look to put down his own wooden fortress and defend this position, as the villager is going to get scouted out. Beasty going to be under pressure on this south side. We know that there could be a little bit of trouble here, actually, because there's been no reactive wall that's come out. I would have expected a wall to come out between these two wood lines, but it's not going to be the case.
Beasty doesn't have the wood just yet for the wooden fortress, but he's going to have it by the time he needs it, so he's going to respond to this one immediately. In fact, once he sees that tower coming up, he needs to cancel his own over here. Beasty actually not dropping his tower over here, and this spells disaster right now for Beasty, because that is the perfect spot for that tower out there. You could also burn down all 3 of those buildings in that corner. This is the best case scenario for Wham, probably better than what he ever imagined him being able to accomplish with this tower rush.
One of the scouts going down for Beastyqt, so a rare mistake already, losing that scout. You can see he's trying to put pressure on that Khan. Second outpost going to be coming up in this corner as well. He knows how important it is to be able to solidify this position. It's going to mean that he can ignite 3 of those buildings and take a nice little bounty away. Now, when we talk about, the perfect games that come out for the Rus player, this looks pretty close to the perfect game. Or rather, for the Mongol player, this looks close to the perfect game. I can't imagine how it could have gone possibly any better for Wham in this position.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And obviously, your goal is not to wipe out the Rus player over here, but think about it this way. Does Beasty have boar villagers? No, you just limited his options. He has to relocate his lumberjacks. He's going to lose 3 buildings, which is 75 food and 75 gold for free for Wham. And, of course, he's gonna have to relocate his villagers, deal with these towers potentially in the future, because one of those golds in this lower area might also be within the reach of that tower. So this is something that Beastyqt is gonna have to address, and the most important thing that this is giving Bam is time. He's going to get time to play a fast castle style build over here, start securing the central area with those Springald towers, and if you summarize everything that we're seeing right now, you have to conclude that Wham is in an exceptionally good position right now.
Exceptionally good position he is indeed. So yeah, I guess for me, it's like I'm starting to worry a bit about Beastyqt. He doesn't seem to be the kind of guy that tilts, but just watching that, I felt like there was just such a very easy counter to what was coming in. You know, even just a quick wall along the edge would have bought him so much time. The town center would have been able to provide, you know, great cover there as well. He would have been able to do a fair bit. I guess he could have always chopped around it as well. That would have been something that he was thinking about, but yeah, definitely a bit of a difficult spot. Now going to be pushing out towards the middle. There's a hunt out here, so looking to be putting down a hunting cabin out here. Yet to take the boar.
For a boar. He might actually be going for the boar here. There's a boar right next to it.
There is a boar right there.
You should lure it in.
Call.
Yeah, you lure it in right next to the hunt, and that's gonna be a perfect hunting cabin for Beastyqt.
That's a good spot. Now, hopefully he does the right thing here and puts a wooden fortress on it. Even though you think, well, he's going to be, that scout actually going to be going down. 2 scouts this game lost for Beastyqt. Wooden fortress going to be going down, so doing the right thing here. He's got to be careful, though. That wooden fortress, you can see that it opens up a potential avenue of attack over towards that western side. He's got units out, though, so he'll be A-okay, but definitely donates over those 3 buildings towards his enemy, and he's feeling pretty good about it, Whammo1 is.
Beastyqt could actually feel comfortable playing with the Rus here, given the fact that he doesn't have to mine gold. If this was another civilization, this would be a lot more devastating, because you see he lost his back gold, and the other gold he has, I wouldn't call that super safe right now. Only arrow slits coming in here for Vam, no additional units being added, so no archers, no horsemen over here, is a sign that he is planning to go into Castle Age over here, and that's probably the best response to this. One thing that he has to respect, though, is that Castle Age is expensive, and the military buildup of the Rus is quite rapid with the archers and spearmen. So you have to respect Beast's ability to push you with a full feudal push over here if you're not being cautious.
Yeah, you would 100% expect that. So it's going to be important that he gets scouts out there. And we see him now looking to scout out his enemy. Obviously, losing 2 scouts means that his scouting is going to be quite limited. But we do see more archery rangers getting added on the front line. So going to be 4 archery rangers for Beastyqt at this early stage of the game.
Yeah, he's gonna probably go all in feudal. I don't see him going into Castle Age over here. So many variables, so many questionable things here for him. Is he gonna get any kind of eco lead going into Castle Age? Likely not. He doesn't have a reliable access to gold, so all signs point towards him supposed to be focusing on a feudal age push here, and indeed, he's grabbing siege engineering for himself. It's gonna be triple ranges and a barracks for himself, and wham, he could find himself exposed over here, because guess what? He's yet to start going up into Castle Age, and we haven't even mentioned that when he gets up to Castle Age, he needs to get some units out. If he gets up, he's gonna have enough stone for some men at arms, so that's not terrible. But Vam needs to start going up to Castle Age really soon, otherwise he could be caught off guard by this.
I like this play from Beastyqt. It makes a lot of sense. I don't think he was intent on playing Age 2 originally, but after reassessing the position that he's in, I think he's made a commitment to play a heavy Age 2. Dropping down that barracks is going to signify that he is intent on really committing to pushing out, because that's going to enable him to train those spearmen. It's going to be able to defend against any horsemen or potential lancer pushers that are going to be coming out. And obviously that siege engineering coming in means that he's going to be able to get the battering ram out nice and quickly and look to dish out some damage. But now scouts in the middle of the map looking to try and pick up an early villager. I'm not sure what the intent was behind this. Maybe looking to do some potential walls over on his enemy side of the map. We'll have to see how he looks to play it as more archers continue coming out. And Age 3 looking to come through for Wham here as well. He's stacked up 800 gold. Still needs 100 food before he's able to click up. We'll see how he looks to play it, though, as he is under attack.
Yeah, he's lacking food. His food income is actually quite underwhelming here, and that could be a concern for him. He's dropping a defensive tower, trying to hold that Ovu, and that's a key thing. At this point, Beastyqt, he doesn't have to destroy the enemy, he just needs to destroy the Ovu to make sure that his opponent can't go for that rapid military build-up using the double training. Forward tower now being dropped here by Beastyqt. Wham is aware of this one, he's gonna have a defensive tower on that Ovu, but he's still yet to click up to Castle Age. Only 260 food per minute and dropping. That is underwhelming at best.
Look at the villagers on the food. They're literally eating the sheep. He's got no food in his base at all. There's no food secure for him. Beastyqt might realize that, might look to punish him. He's only got the food income that's being provided by these sheep that are trickling in slowly from these pastures. And that could be significantly problematic for Wham01 because he sits over in this corner, nice, tight, and safe. He thinks he's bought himself enough time over with the outposts on the other side of the map, but now Beastyqt going to be looking to punish him, and we can see those pastures going to pack themselves up, move in a little bit closer to the town center, guarantee that food income, but he's struggling now. Spearman moving out to try and prevent any attack from coming through on that Uvu. The battering ram does head back the other way, but now going to be turning its attention towards the Uvu once again. This might not be pretty for Wham, but I tell you what, if there's any civilization you want to be playing, it's got to be the Mongols, because they're going to be able to double produce their men-at-arms, their lancers, and at least try and hold on to this position.
Yeah, he has to. He's got a ton of stone here, and that's the concern. If he loses the Ovu, which seems to be the case, double production is gonna be gone. He's gonna be floating 500 stone that he cannot use anything for. And with that, he's only gonna have 2 men-at-arms popping out here. Now, it looks like this ram might get abandoned, so he might get that Ovu back in here, but Beasty actually has a reasonable momentum here. Villager sneaking out to the south. I could
that
imagine...
villager.
Oh, he actually
Is he going for an Uvu? I think he's going for an Uvu, right? Like he wants to drop the Uvu down, or is he looking to put an outpost down on the food source? He knows he's in trouble right now. This battering ram continuing to apply pressure down towards this western or eastern side, rather. You can see it firing off on the spearman, indicating that he's thinking about getting out more lancers. But unfortunately, that outpost is going to be going down, and the battering ram doing a lot of work at this early stage in the game. Men-at-arms going to be coming out of the barracks, but it's only a single men-at-arms because you guessed it, the Uvu is dead. Uvu going to be coming down now for Wham over on this southern side. The only real way he can use stone at this point is going to be through outposts, but we can see he's definitely stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. This is not looking good for Wham.
It's not looking good at all, and Beasty is just ramping up that military production even more. He has a ton of archers out there, 32 to be precise. Quite a lot of spearmen on the battlefield as well. He's adding the second battering ram. Wham struggled to deal with that first ram in the first place. He's going to struggle dealing with that second one, and you see, just in the moment that the barracks gets dropped, you're gonna have the spearmen come in here. The good news for Wham is that the ram is going to be a little slow to transition to that other Ovu side, which could buy enough time for Wham to get himself 1 or 2 men-at-arms with the double training. And I think it's a siege workshop that's coming out here for Wham. Not something you see every day for the Mongols, but he doesn't have improved siege engineering, and he might need a Springall to deal with all those rams.
I think he's got to go for he's going with a trebuchet to deal with the wooden fortresses. I thought he was going to make a springald to deal with the rams. Oh my lord, could you imagine that, holding a ram push with a springald? That would have been 900 IQ right there. But Wham looking like he's in a difficult spot, but now all of a sudden Villager's going to get pulled. It looks like Beastyqt's left the rams for dead. He's not even paying attention. 600 gold or 600 wood going down the drain. Very big lapse in attention here for Beastyqt as he throws away 2 of his rams, his finest, but he's got a nice little corner that he's put his opponent into over on this eastern side of the map, and he is definitely struggling. But we can see more men-at-arms continuing to come out 2 by 2 as they look to try and head down towards the other side of the map. Beastyqt might look to do a bit of a reactive wall, but now that trebuchet is making its worth, or making work over on that northern side of the base.
Beastyqt, however, is piling up resources for Castle Age. He's through the worst. He wasn't able, or well, more likely, Wham wasn't able to capitalize on that Castle Age timing, because now Beast is going with the Abbey to Castle Age. He's gonna start picking up those relics, and Wham, it still takes some time for him to break out of this hold. If he does, the army of Beast is going to somewhat struggle against the men-at-arms, but let's not forget, the moment Beasty gets up to Castle Age, he's gonna have access to crossbowmen, so suddenly he has a response to those. I feel like Beasty has buffered up this power spike from Wham in an exceptionally good manner.
Yeah, he's done a great job with it, but now the men-at-arms going to be able to find some villagers over on those hunts. Look to try and disrupt that food economy for Beastyqt. He's on 46 villagers, Wham on 45, so the economy's still quite even at this point. Wham obviously no relics at this point. He's been stuck inside of his base, but that outpost or those wooden fortresses are going to be slowly going down. We can see that a lot of units coming out for Beastyqt looking to try and take that down. Indeed, they turn around. Mangonel getting off some decent shots there, dishing out some damage. And now Wham, all of a sudden, isn't looking that bad. The trebuchet was a smart move. It's going to be able to clear out these wooden fortresses that Beastyqt was using as a bit of a base. And now that Mongol Khan almost going down as well.
Vam's food eco is still atrocious though. 250 food per minute at this stage of the game is really underwhelming. The good news for him is that he's doing some damage to Beast's eco, you see. Even if he's not killing villagers, 18 idols plus a couple more villagers fleeing from that hunt. In fact, Beastyqt completely abandoned that hunt to just 2 men-at-arms pressuring it. Little surprising out there, he's now going back, but that's a ton of idle time on Beastyqt. In fact, if you look at this, 20 idols for Beastyqt out of the 50 villagers he has. That's a massive hit to his eco, and let's not forget, the Mongols, ooh, Vam going for a second TC here. I think he's realizing that, okay, he needs to break this stalemate, and this might be a longer game than expected. Makes some sense to try and build up a villager lead.
Yeah, but one of the things to note is he does it within line of sight. I'm pretty confident it's within line of sight of the wall of Beastyqt. If we can take a look from Beastyqt's perspective, I'd love to be able to see whether Beastyqt knows about this second town center coming down from Wham towards the north of Wham's base. We'll take a look over from his side and see exactly what we get as that sacred site in the middle gets captured up, and
he doesn't
see it. It's the wall. It's so small, isn't it? Look at that line of sight. Barely anything.
Warrior Monk, though, capping the sacred site. Couple of men-at-arms are coming in, though. Beasty needs crossbows desperately. He's still only full on archers. He's gonna cap that sacred site. And if he can get himself a castle in the middle, he's gonna be in a great position. That being said, right now he doesn't have an army that's capable of beating men-at-arms. Though, actually, now if you look at the upgrades, you also have the 2 defense upgrades for Wham on the ranged armor. So those archers really will struggle against those men-at-arms. Could have been a different scenario if Wham didn't have those defense upgrades, but he does. 10-minute counter now starts. Beast is going to have some of the relics for himself. Wham, not a single relic so far. And what's more alarming is that he has no push towards the middle happening, which could buy Beasty time to get himself a keep in the middle.
Monastery is out for Wham, so he's going to be looking to take away some of those relics away from his opponent. He's got 2 relics on his side. Obviously, Beasty's taken away that first one from the center, but both players with 2 relics pretty evenly distributed on their own respective sides. But we see Wham moving out with what is a blue unit up towards the north. We hear him actually picking up the first relic. Second relic going to be coming in shortly, I suspect, as he continues to move out. I think it might be up towards the north. He's looping around. He's looking to pick it up. We'll take a look. I think, yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, he's coming to break through. Look at this.
Nice.
Oh, he's going to be able to find the villager. I think he managed to get the wall up there as well.
Yeah, the wall is up actually, but obviously the Warrior Monk has to take a different path because there's a tower out there that would prevent it. There might actually be an opening, it's hard to tell, but having just 1 or 2 Lancers at the back of Beasty's base would be a great way for Ram to just keep Beasty in check, force him to defend, and indeed that Monk has to take the long path around. Could be a Vololo.
Oh, it could be a Wololo! Watch out, Wham! Wham manages to sprint out of there. Fortunately, he's got Mongol villagers, which basically just leave... It seemed pretty easy for Wham, really. He took about a second to react. I feel like you got to actually... I would honestly, if the developers were like reduced the time that it takes for Wololos to come off by a second, I would not be against that.
No, me neither. Or at least add an upgrade that does that. I can see it being a little exploitable at the beginning, but yeah, the thing is that you just so rarely see those Vololos. You can't convert warrior monks, so that's not going to be a thing. You just pop the Vololos like, yeah, you wanna get converted to our religion? Oh no, I have mine. I'm going to preach that.
Yes, they do have their own inbuilt conversion inefficiency or conversion resistance, don't they? But now Beastyqt, he's going to be looking to try and defend his position up on top of the hill. The trebuchets are coming out in force here for Wham as he continues to push up with more sprinkled emplacements on these outposts. A keep going to be going up for Beastyqt, but the trebuchet's already out for Wham, so he's going to be A-okay with this. Springled's moving out over the top of the hill, looking for a potential partner, looking for a kiss. Will they find it? That is the question.
Villager lead building up here for Wham, but now Beasty has a castle going up on the sacred site. He's got the Springolds, and we know what he can do with this combination. He can just sit back with Springolds, snipe down those traction trebuchets, and this is one of those scenarios where being Mongols is actually something that hurts you, because you only have access to the traction trebuchets, and sure thing, you can make them with your infantry. But how about the range? You have a much smaller range than you would have with the counterweight trebuchets that other civilizations can make. And in this scenario where the Springolds will try to snipe you, it's probably better that you have that longer range with the counterweight trebuchets. So this is gonna be a difficult push for Wham, partly because his trebuchets are much easier to snipe with those Springolds than the trebuchets of other civilizations.
Yeah, very, very true. He's going to try and hold on this position on the front. Beastyqt got to be careful here as one of the wooden fortresses goes down. And now we see Wham continuing to move out. Fortunately for him, he's got a second gold on that lower ground. It's going to be easy for him to transition into this push. Obviously, we saw a little bit earlier today the consequences of, what happens when there are spawns without that second gold. But now, as a consequence of that, we see the Springalds moving up and looking to try and dish out some hurt on that villager underneath the outpost, taking it out, and that outpost stops its production. But Beastyqt looking to try and hold onto this hill. 6 minutes to go until that final bell rings. Will he be able to hold on? That is the question as he begins pushing down the mountainside.
The problem for Wham is that while he's building up his economy, and sure thing you could say, oh yeah, he's gonna be able to leverage that eco lead in the next 3 or 4 minutes, the concern for him is that Beasty, he's now going to focus every single bit of his efforts towards fortifying the middle. So your buildup of economy and military forces that you are making to push the middle is actually slower than Beasty's defensive buildup in the middle. So as time progresses, this is gonna be harder and harder for Wham to push, rather than becoming easier and easier.
Now we see more aggression down towards the south. The scout going to be able to spot out that Uvu before it really comes up. But military mass looking very healthy for Beastyqt. He's sitting on 81 military units at this point. But by the same token, Wham looking very healthy. He's got 8 Springalds out. I don't know where he pulled these 8 Springalds out from, but I tell you what, that is looking scary. Up the top of the hill, Beastyqt got that line of sight advantage. He's going to be trying to extend that out. You can see the Springalds firing down upon the Springald outposts of Wham. But remember that Beastyqt's got the longer range because of a bug that exists with these wooden fortresses. So essentially, when you get the Springald in placement and then you also get the arrow slits in placement on the wooden fortress, it increases the range of the Springald by +2 as well.
Ooh, obviously that's going to be a difficult one to deal with if you're sending in your army first, but Wham has no desire to do that, and I love how he's pushing this. He's playing a slow and methodical game right now, working his way through those outposts. Second castle now coming up here for Beasty. Beasty only has 8 crossbows here. Where are those Springalds going?
They're going for a kiss right now as they move up onto the front line, forgetting for a second that they're artillery. The men-at-arms look to take their place and say, sorry, Springalds, it was us all along. But look at the numbers now for Beastyqt. He's up to 6. And now Wham in absolute shadows as he's lost the entire Springald lead that he had. This is looking terrible for Wham as Beastyqt continues to hold on into this position. The pathing on those Springalds, just the fact that they kissed, and now all of the Springalds going down for Wham. Beastyqt looking to hold his position on top of this hill. He's got the keep, he's got the outpost, he's got everything he needs. He is looking absolutely beautiful.
Both sides taking some big hits onto that army, but an even trade is not enough for Wham over here. He needs momentum. He's going to start rebuilding those Springolds. Beast is also down to just 4. And for those of you wondering what exactly happened there, part of that is line of sight. If the Springolds don't have a direct line of sight to fire that bolt to the enemies, they are just going to start getting closer until they find an angle at which they can fire that projectile through. And with that hill being there, it's sometimes difficult to find an angle, especially if you are the one attacking up hills. So part of this elevation advantage is represented in that line of sight advantage that you have, you being the defender on top of the hill as compared to the aggressor being at the lower part of the hill.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And remember, even if you do have line of sight, it might not even be that. It might just simply be that the Springald can't see the enemy Springald, just simply because it needs to have a direct line towards it. They don't have that arcing shot like the Mangonels would have. So you've got to be so careful with these huge elevation changes. But definitely, it doesn't look like it's something that should be. I look at that and I just get upset. But I think it's to be with the behavior of the siege. It's that kind of like that classic thing that we talk about. Like if you tell a trebuchet, good game just gets called. Wham just says good game. He taps out. He says the kiss just didn't work. It's a strategy that sometimes plays off in the dating scene, sometimes plays off in the Golden League. But today for Wham, not going to be the case.
A little surprising over here, he's still got 2.5 minutes left on the clock, and if you look at his resource bank right now, obviously when he taps out, all of his units are refunded, so part of that is obviously units that have been queued up. I feel like he had enough momentum to make one final push. Would it have worked? I don't think so. I think Beasty had like a 90% chance to win this game, but you never know. We have seen crazier things in Golden League before. I could have seen Wham trying to go for one more YOLO out there. This being said, Beasty, nice defense in the middle, and it was all about the delay. Wham, he had an exceptional start with the Mongols, but then Beast's reaction with that aggression came into play, and part of this probably goes back to that inefficient food eco of Wham in Feudal. He really struggled to get that final 150 food for Castle. That set him back so much that it allowed Beasty to push that over, and from that point on, Wham was struggling to put out Castle Age army against Beasty's Feudal army. By the time he catches up, Beasty's up to Castle Age, and we are talking about an even playing field, essentially.
It could have gone 2-0 over to Wham. Unfortunately, it's going to be 1-1 for him, and Beastyqt evening up the scoreline here. He'll be very happy with that and feel a little bit relieved after that start because it did look a little bit shaky. When those outposts came up, it started to look concerning, but he made the right decision. He pulled out the gun. He said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to shoot for a feudal H play. And that's exactly what he did, and it seemed to work. It seemed to punish Wham 0-1. But yeah, walking away from that game, though, you definitely got to feel like, I feel like Siege definitely needs not necessarily an overhaul, but they need to look at fixing some of the issues that are quite glaring. Like one of the examples that I often use is like, let's say that you've got a trebuchet that you want it to attack a keep that's in front of it. You right click on that keep. Instead of the trebuchet just moving forward, say 10 pixels and then unpacking, what it will do is it will walk all the way around your wall that you've got set up because it identifies, okay, where do I have to go to fire out that keep? And it says, I'm going to look for it. I'm going to walk all the way. So it walks around your wall, walks around the forest that you've walled to, and then finally it fires at the keep. Instead of just walking forward just that 10 pixels, it doesn't come across as very smart.